with saying the subjects that we did at sixth form. So, Beth, what subjects did you do?
This was a long time ago. I did sociology, I did history, early modern, and I did English language, and I did photography AS, but I dropped it.
Michael, what subjects did you do?
I took the complete opposite. I took maths and further maths, and then computer science, so a combination of very nerdy subjects, I guess.
And I took art, history and business, but I did drop business, and I did an EPQ, which is an extended project. I don't know did anyone do EPQ?
No, I was too caught up in the stress of photography.
It was compulsory for me, so I had no choice.
Way too lazy to do an EPQ, I'll be honest. Way too lazy.
The first thing we're going to talk about is friendships, and I think going to a new sixth form or college, you're probably going to be quite nervous because you've never been there before, or if you've already started, it might be a new environment for you. So what kind of advice would you say about it, Beth?
Oh, I'm not, like, I get really bad anxiety about meeting new people, so it was really stressful going into like new lessons and not knowing anyone because that really scared me. But I went up to sixth form with like 2 or 3 friends, and then all these new people came in and we were like, oh, okay, there's new people, great. So we were just really nice to these like new people that had come in and like made our own little friendship group out of these like external students is what we called them.
External.
Aliens, you mean?
Okay.
Yeah, and then that whole friendship group fell apart by the second year of my sixth form life. And I had like 2 really good friends and that was about it. But like, I was happy. So at the end of the day, if you find people that make you happy, stick with them, because that's always fun. And then your lessons will just get easier as you get to know people. But definitely just like try and make the first move, because it's always harder for someone else to sit there and talk to you if they know you've been at the school and stayed at the school, or like you've already got friends and they're in your classes too. But like, just like be that nice person that's like, hi,
Be nice to everyone.
how are you? Yeah.
I was going to say 2 things. First, you should definitely just be nice to everybody. Like from the get-go, you have a little conversation with on the first day, second day, maybe in the first week. You could come back in like a month or even like the next year, and you could actually be really good friends with them. I'll have you know, I was invited to quite a lot of parties from people I'd only had a couple conversations with, and that's just because I was nice to them. People had said I was nice. I was nice to enough people that I just had a bigger social group. So don't get, like, as easy as it may seem, don't get held down in a group. You know, don't be in a cliquey group where there's just the 5 of you roaming around each other. When the 4 other people aren't there, you're just alone. Don't be that person. You just need to expand your friendship group, just be nice to everybody, and you'll have a great time.
Me anyway, it was actually a weird situation because in high school I was only ever in my form. I didn't really talk to anyone in other forms that much. So when most of my form left, I was actually really scared because I was just not sure what friends I would make and everything like that. But I think the amazing thing about sixth form for me anyway is everyone was really friendly. Yes, there might be a few people in groups, but everyone was so nice. Like you could walk into a room and talk to anyone, like it was fine. So I'd just say, yeah, what my friends have said, being nice to people. The second topic that we're going to talk about is teachers. And I think just to say now, they don't hate you.
They don't hate you because they always want what's best for you, but sometimes it can seem really harsh and that they don't like you. And
Literally.
because of that, it seems like they're being like the worst people ever. Like, I remember some teachers used to tell me that they're not going to give me a grade back on my work because it's like 3 weeks before the exam and a grade isn't going to help you. But all we are like trained to want in school is like grades. And he was like, if I give you feedback, it's going to be so much more positive than like giving you a grade and you like dwelling on that grade. And actually, he's the reason I went to uni to do history. So
I think it's so hard sometimes, but they actually do want what's best for you. And everything they do is because they care about you. Michael, do you have anything to say about teachers?
Yeah, the people next to me are very optimistic. I think most teachers don't hate you, but there are definitely a few that you'll have who just do.
So I would say, don't listen to Mike. Teachers they do want what's best for you,
Yeah.
but
or you hate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some teachers you just don't get on with and their teaching style just isn't for you, and that's fine. But just make sure you do well for you, not for them, not for anyone else, for you. Yeah.
Oh, and I loved my teachers, by the way. Don't get it twisted. I loved the teachers I had. I got, you know, I'd have some arguments, but generally I loved my teachers. So this wasn't a personal thing. You touched upon the personal statements. Why don't we jump into that one? That's quite
yeah, point 3.
an interesting one.
Personal statements are important. Do work on them. Get someone who knows what they're doing to help you, and make sure you get your reference done like ASAP.
Just don't leave it to the last minute.
No,
Don't
do not
it.
do that. All my days. Could you only imagine January coming around when you're meant to be starting to like revise? That's what they start to tell you, and you're just like, I haven't done my personal statement, lol. And then it's like, ah.
Alright, should we explain what a personal statement is?
Yeah.
Sam?
Because I guess most of you may have siblings though, so you might know what a personal statement is. But if you don't, Beth will explain.
Oh gosh, am I explaining? Oh damn, okay. A personal statement is something you have to write if you want to go to university. It's part of your UCAS application. It's a really strict word count, and it's like characters, including spaces and punctuation. So you've got 4,000 characters or 47 lines to write stuff about yourself. You basically have to big yourself up to this uni and be like, yo, please take me because I'm great at everything. So it's really important just for you to like tell them why you're going to be an asset to their uni as opposed to someone who just wants to go for the sake of getting a degree. And a lot of people do still like get in and go for the sake of getting a degree, which is fine, like don't get me wrong, but like why do you want to go to uni? Why are you passionate about this subject without using the word passionate? And like
It's hard.
yeah, it's flipping hard. And then the word count is so bad, like all my days. But no, like
Don't worry about it like straight away. I'm sure you'll get help on it because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing.
So strange.
Yeah, so just don't worry about personal statements just yet, and they will talk to you and they'll probably give you some sheets to help and everything like that, and especially talking to parents and siblings, like I'm sure you'll be able to get some help. So don't worry about it, but just prepare for personal statements because they will.
it's like a CV.
Yeah.
So you've got to just like note down all
Yeah.
the stuff that you're happy about putting in, but not stuff that's irrelevant. Like our PhD lecturer's gonna really want something that they studied and did 5 years of like their own research on explained to them. So you've just got to remember that you can't like just describe things that you just like doing and stuff. You've got to be like, why has this made me an academic and why am I interested in it, without like explaining it to them, because no one needs that.
Oh yeah. In terms of, I don't know if they've touched upon it, but in terms of how early you should actually start, in my school we had a group who started essentially the first year around February time, so really really early, like much earlier than anybody else, and I joined that just for no reason. I'll be honest, I didn't even know what a personal statement was, but I heard some other people doing it and I joined, and I'll tell you that was the best decision I ever made. My personal statement in the end was pretty good, and I made so many drafts, but the thing is that when you start that early, like I mean incredibly early, then you've still got so long. You got so long. It doesn't matter how bad you are or how bad you think you are at writing. If you've got almost a year to plan out a beautiful 4,000 character novel of how beautiful of a person you are, trust me, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just start real early. I'm talking
Yeah.
like January time. I don't care if none of your friends are starting. Tell them you're dumb and I'm smart and I'm starting now and you're dumb. You're dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe don't tell
Don't
them you don't want to ruin whatever friendships
No,
you've just
but,
made. But like,
another point which I think we learn about is sometimes it can be hard writing good things about yourself.
Society.
So it's a good thing to prepare for and a good thing to do about yourself as well. The fourth point, I'm gonna just title it as Netflix because I think it's an important thing
bane of my
that
existence.
it can just take over your life, and it's just. You just have to think. It's really hard, I know, because Netflix somehow put out shows
Delete the account.
during exam time.
Just don't procrastinate using Netflix. It's not a good idea. Don't do that when you have exams coming up. It's not clever.
Number 5, I think, is clothing, because I feel like for girls sometimes, especially if you've been wearing a uniform for a long time and then you don't have to wear a uniform, it's a weird thing. One thing to remember is that everyone's style is different, and you'll see some really interesting kind of clothing combinations and stuff. So don't worry if you feel like your clothes are weird or whatever. And I feel like at the beginning people did try and dress up a bit, But towards the end, especially during exam time, people were just rocking up in hoodies. Like, no one really cared.
We weren't allowed to wear hoodies.
Oh, actually.
What is this like?
Why?
We had like a uniform
Why?
code.
Actually, can we talk about the different uniforms that we had? Because you went to all girls school, so it would have been
Yeah.
completely different to my school, which was just
Yeah.
a mess first year, a complete mess. So you know.
Why?
Everyone's trying to
But
find their
there's
style,
like
aren't
dress. Yeah, there's certain like dress code, not dress codes, but like you're not allowed to wear like, we weren't allowed to wear like spaghetti tops and like stuff that showed our
they? You weren't allowed
stomachs.
midriffs, weren't allowed cleavage, weren't allowed
Not allowed,
shoulders
like,
out,
super
weren't allowed
short
shorts,
skirts.
or well, we weren't allowed
Yeah,
to wear shorts. We weren't allowed
basically.
short skirts.
Ours was
We
even
were allowed to
worse.
wear
Dude.
shorts though.
Ours
You
was
had
so
to
bad.
have a check shirt or like a shirt buttoned up. You couldn't have it
Okay,
unbuttoned.
no, we didn't.
Um, you couldn't wear hoodies, couldn't wear joggers, couldn't wear trainers,
I don't think people wore joggers that much.
couldn't wear
Leggings.
sportswear
People
unless
wore
you were
leggings.
PE.
Wait,
Yeah.
so did you just have smart clothing essentially?
Yeah, kind of.
Was it like ties?
No. We didn't have like a uniform.
Yeah.
Like every guy that wore a top had to wear like a shirt and it had to be buttoned up. Like
So
it
it's
That's
couldn't
kind
exactly.
of. Is that the
We
same
haven't got
for you
around
guys?
Yeah, so like first year, it was
I
a
don't have
complete
that.
mess in my school. First year, we had smart clothing, but I'll say it was really poorly enforced because the guys, we actually had to wear like shirt, tie, we had to tuck in, we actually had to look smart. The girls, however, on my days, the teachers did not care. They could wear what the hell they wanted and they just got away with it. So there was a survey at the end of the year, is they just completely got rid of the smart clothing and then we could wear what the hell we wanted. We could wear hoodies, trainers, anything. So yeah, first year was awful, second year, great.
I feel like maybe my school is different. We didn't have as strict as these two. I didn't have it as strict as them. But I feel like we did kind of have along the lines, you just couldn't wear something inappropriate in front of teachers
Then
and
what is
stuff.
inappropriate?
Yeah, I guess.
Subjective.
But for me personally, I like to dress up sometimes. Sometimes I want to keep it casual. And so I just had a good mix. And towards the end, I just wore literally anything.
But if we're talking about fashion, can we talk about how you can get eco-friendly clothes, which are really cool, not fast fashion?
Mike.
Sixth topic is life advice. We're going to start with like work life because that's a big part of a lot of people's lives, and getting a job at this kind of age is fun. Yay!
It's
Yeah.
nice because you earn your own money, and I think, for me anyway, earning my own money when I worked at McDonald's was the most amazing thing because I was able to buy my own things for the first time ever, and it was just nice earning my own money. And why did you not? And I would say that is how I was able to get my own style, to be honest. I've always wanted my own, like everyone wants their own style, but you just don't have the money to do that. And so working, I was able to kind of make my own style and buy my own clothes, and that is how I kind of figured out what kind of
That's
style
like
I like. Being proactive. It's a word that you might hear a lot in sixth form, and then after that you just hear it everywhere all the time.
Mhm.
And it is kind of important though. Michael, what do you have to say about proactiveness?
Well, my first piece of advice for you would be get your books early. In my school, for some reason, there was just no books available. I think it's because we were the first year, so we couldn't even get books if we wanted. But yeah, just take the initiative yourself, buy them. They won't be that expensive. That's my first piece of advice there.
What do you think, Beth?
I was the opposite, like, okay, get books as early as you can. We were the first year to do the, like, new A-level system,
Yeah.
so we didn't actually know what was happening, full stop. Like, we were just the tester run year, we were, like, the lab rats of the year, so we had all these books, and they were just like, yeah, we can't really tell you much, because, you know, it's there, you've got to just do it. Which was fine, but books are hella expensive, like, I cannot even, like,
Is that
get
the
them off
history?
eBay. Just
Is-
generally.
Oh.
Just generally, books are expensive. Get them off eBay, or buy them off a different person in a different year, like, so much easier. Even for, like, uni books, you just, like, get them second hand. I cannot stress this enough, you'll save so much money.
I would say that just taking the initiative, talking to your teachers, or if you have a tutor or something like that, just talk to them about a topic which you didn't understand in the lesson. If you don't understand something, talk to someone about it, because the longer you put it off, like, it's going to come up anyway, so you're going to struggle, and you're going to struggle to do a source or an essay or something, so make sure you talk to someone if you're struggling with a topic.
You know what? Also, to add on to that, I would say if you fail an end of topic test, don't let that get you down.
It's not the end of the world.
In
I
fact,
literally cannot stress that enough.
sometimes it's a good thing when you fail. I'm not just going to say, oh, because you learn from it. No, no, no. What you do is you go up to your teacher and you tell them how you felt about it, and you talk to them about the preparation that you took, and they'll actually give you advice, but they'll respect you a lot more for coming up to them and taking the initiative.
To actually talk to them about, if you worked hard on something and you didn't achieve the grade that you wanted, going to talk to the teacher is the best thing, because they can tell you where you went wrong.
They have more knowledge than you. They've probably been teaching a long while, even if like you're like our years where they were kind of like the first years you do this kind of thing under the new A-level system. Like, the lowest grade I'd got out all my GCSEs, A-levels, and then I started questioning whether or not I should be going to uni to do history, and I was like having a massive crisis. But like I still was getting D grades up until like 3 weeks before my actual A-level exams. So just because you get bad grades does not mean you're going to get a bad grade overall. I got a B overall and I still got into the uni I wanted to go to. So
if you work hard, then there's no reason why you won't achieve what you want in the end, you know. The 8th piece of advice, which I think is so important, is mental breakdowns, because
literally I cannot even.
Yeah, so these guys have to cover this. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah.
You didn't have any breakdowns?
No mental
She had a breakdown and started singing about the Wars of the Roses.
I had a breakdown and wanted to quit photography 5 weeks before the exam.
I wanted to not go to sixth form anymore, you know.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times I was like, I'm done. I can't do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I guess Mike is just
It's a subject. I think it's a subject thing. I think it depends.
Yeah.
If you're taking art, you get a lot of coursework. If you're taking, you just, depending on the subject you take, I think will determine on how just chill your time is.
What subjects are you taking? Yeah.
So
but your
I
subjects were quite intense.
Not really. I feel like I took maths, further maths and computer science. Now computer science, we didn't have to do much, to be fair. And maths and further maths, when you take further maths, right, maths becomes pretty easy. So I only felt like I was taking like 2.5 subjects. So I had it chill all the way. Doesn't mean it's easy, but I mean, I wasn't like stressing out, oh no, I don't have time to finish this. It was more, this is impossible, how do I do this? It was that sort of thing.
I think something to take into consideration is if you're doing art, and I think textiles as well, it will take, it will take a lot of time.
It will take hours of your time.
Yeah.
The more I focused on art, the less I was focusing on my other subjects, and it was just finding a balance, which, to be honest, I kind of got towards the end of the first year, but then in the second year it kind of was a bit easier because I dropped my subject, but it was still kind of hard because I was doing EPQ as well, so it was just trying to find a balance. But I would say if you're doing art, even though it is kind of the same at GCSE, instead of just doing 8 to 12 pieces, you're doing up to 20, and that's just for coursework. So doing the exam prep, that's even more, and well, for us we had to do an essay as well. So just make sure you try and balance it. It's so hard, but as long as you I think talking to people, talking to your friends, family, siblings, like make sure you don't feel like you're just drowning in quicksand. Talking to someone is the best solution, so you don't feel
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That word. Yeah. Like, and also if you've got other things going on in your life at the same time. So I spent a lot of my time at my sixth form after hours, like doing work and talking to my teachers and doing a ton of essays, because obviously I was failing my subject that I wanted to go do at uni. Like, it was a lot of stress, but if you talk to someone, it makes it so much easier. And also it means that if you're going through something really, really awful at the time, or something pops up and it really throws you off, they can talk to the exam board for you, and you can get like some special consideration. Don't forget that like special consideration is so important if you do like get the opportunity to have it, because it just helps overall. Like, if you haven't then got the grades to go to your uni, you can be like, well, I was doing this and this was happening, and they can reevaluate you based on the situation as well, which is always really, really helpful, because then you're not like, oh my gosh, I failed, I don't know what to do with my life now, because that's not true. You'll always have an option, whether or not it's uni, but like sixth form is just like there to support you, not to like completely throw you under the bus, so it's chill.
Yeah. And I would also say, as much as we're making it seem like A-levels are so difficult, which they are, but if you manage to get through the end, you'll feel so great.
Yeah. The best feeling.
Although I'm not at university yet, I'm pretty sure Beth will say that just A-levels are like really, really hard. They're not like, obviously there's a massive jump.
Uni's easier.
Yeah, like university will actually be easier for you than A-levels. So just know you're commencing one of the most difficult 2 years of your life maybe in terms of education, but the payoff is worth it. So just crack down for those 2 years,
Yeah.
and you'll be Gucci.
Yeah. Also
Sounds bad.
remember that instead of doing 11 subjects, you are doing 3, even though it is more intense. You are doing 3 subjects that you may or may not really like.
If you're doing an essay subject, please master your essay writing at A level. I know it's different at uni, but oh my words, I got screwed over so bad. You don't even understand. My essay writing is so bad.
Same.
Master it at like A levels, and then first year of uni, like master it. Otherwise, you will be like me. And
I feel like you don't forget it, do you? The stuff that you learn for essays at A level, because I feel like it's drilled in my head like
Content, provenance, tone, content, provenance, tone.
There's always help if you need it, and staying after school, I just think sometimes that is a good thing, because even like if you have a half day and you're going to go home, think about it, because will you really do that certain work that you're going to say you're going to do, or are you going to sleep or watch Netflix, you know? Just think about that sometimes.
Yeah.
like I was definitely more proactive at school than I was at home, and then it meant when I went home I didn't feel the need to do work. Like I could just like chill out, go to sleep, like whatever.
It's always going to be there. Even
Yeah.
if you don't want to do the work, it's still going to be there at the end of the day. So figuring out the right technique for you when it comes to
Learning, revision, all that jazz.
Yeah. So just, you want to kind of figure out how you learn quite early into the year, because if you're just using some ineffective strategies, like let's say I'm somebody who is really good at cramming for tests, but I just decide to use flashcards, that's not going to work for me. But for somebody else, that might be really good. So I would just say try out everything at the beginning, but you just got to figure out what works for you specifically, and, you know,
Literally.
yeah.
they are
Godsend.
I feel like
Beautiful.
I panicked because I felt I didn't know the topics well enough to do past papers. But if you feel like that, maybe go through the syllabus, because I'm sure they print it out for you, and just highlight in different colours, like the bits you completely understand, you don't really understand, you don't remember at all because you were asleep in the lesson or something like that.
Ooh, I would never sleep in a lesson. How-
Yeah, of
Ooh,
course.
who would ever
Never.
sleep in a
Who would do that? Mike sleeps in class, obviously.
I actually did at GCSE. I got a vision. I had to visit a safeguarding team. They thought something was wrong with me.
You had to visit the safeguarding team. Wow.
They're like, is everything good at home? Okay.
If you have a list of the syllabus and you've got the topics, you can highlight the things that you completely understand, you don't really understand, or you do not remember at all, and then you are able to kind of figure out which things you need to go through again. Make sure to go to the beginning though of everything and
Of
just
course. Even if you just plan them, like plan your introduction, plan your conclusion, and like some points that you'd put in between, it helps so much. I
It
pestered mine
depends.
enough
Yeah.
to make
I'm
him mark
sure
it,
that they will.
but I
like,
kept giving him like more as he gave them back, so he'd give me back like 5 and
that
I'd
is
give
the
him
way to
3
go
more.
though. That's the
And
best.
he was like, stop doing them quicker than I can mark them, and I was like, I'm sorry. But
I
like
feel
it helped.
that's good. That is good.
It did help.
I think that's better than not doing it. So just, I'm sure your teachers won't get angry for you doing extra work
No.
at the end of the day. And I think a little revision tip that my teacher told me about is using post-it notes. And if that doesn't work, put glue tack on them. But is to write little bits of info like remembering a battle day and like a little who won it.
Flashcards.
Yeah, and you can literally stick them around the house. You can stick it on the window if you stare out the window a lot. The fridge if you eat.
Like my room where the mirror is right in front of your bed and you just
Yeah.
look at it a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
just you can put them anywhere, and that way you're remembering stuff. Or using Quizlet. I don't know if anyone
Ooh.
uses that.
like
It's
okay,
Kahoot, mate.
I cannot love Kahoots, let's just put that out there. But like, okay, I cannot stress enough how much writing out something, like physically writing it out, helps you remember it. Like it's all well and good being on laptops, and okay, if you do your exams on laptops, that's great. But like for actually remembering information, writing it, rewriting it, doing flashcards really helped me.
I have some advice for some mathematic cool nerds.
Call them nerds. That's not very nice.
Everyone's a nerd,
Yeah, I'm a
let's
nerd
be
myself
honest.
too.
Everybody's
Look at my
a
subjects. So when I was in maths classes, it would make us write a bunch of unnecessary notes in our book. So I just didn't do that, and I know you're supposed to, but when you're doing maths specifically, notes aren't so useful because they're gonna throw you really weird questions in exams which you just never would have seen before. What's better is that you just fundamentally understand stuff. So as these guys were saying, bunch of past paper questions. You don't even need, like, you should be doing so many past paper questions that you don't even need to look back at your notes, because you already, you just get it, right? And also, here's a good thing. Once you do that, I would highly recommend just trying to help some of your friends too, because as people say, if you can't explain it, then you probably don't understand it that well.
Sixth form was an amazing experience, and I gained so much confidence by just volunteering. A great way to meet new people and to gain your confidence. So I would say overall, coming out of sixth form, I really did love it, and even though it was hard sometimes, I think it was all worth it. What about you, Beth?
So can I also stress that it's like not a bad thing to go to college. Some schools at year 11 kind of make it like A-levels is the only way to go. And yes, we all went through A-levels, but that was a choice because we knew where we wanted to go afterwards or didn't, so we needed to keep our options open. That's why a lot of people do go to sixth form, because you don't study one subject as opposed to some colleges where you do. I know that we had West Suffolk back home where I'm at, and it's not a bad way to go at all. Like, I know a lot of people who have been through college and come out the other side and gone, it was the best experience ever, I got what I wanted out of it, and they got better grades than what I would have done at A-levels, so I really can't bash it at all. Like, no one can. Not the only option to go through A-levels, but for me, I found it was the most productive way to get to where I needed to be, because there wasn't a college course for history. If there was, probably would have gone to college, not gonna lie. But you know, I really enjoyed A-levels. I loved all of my teachers, and actually I think the only reason I stayed at the same sixth form that I'd been to for year 11 and all that was because of this one teacher that really inspired me just to go do history and end up teaching. So, you know, I had a really positive experience.
I actually enjoyed sixth form so much. I went to the same, like my sixth form and high school were the same place, so it wasn't such a strange transition, but a lot of people had left my high school and a lot of new people came in, so it was still kind of a weird situation where, you know, I'm in the deep end, got to make some new friends, and I loved it, I'll be honest. I think you're going to have a great 2 years. One thing that I realised a lot in the year is a lot of people will probably be, I don't want to sound too harsh, but they'll be blaming their failures on the teachers, but all you've got to do throughout the school is just be thinking, because A-levels are a lot more independent, right? Yeah. Generally, you pass or fail, but it's up to you. If you need a tutor, get a tutor. If you need to do more work on your own, do that. But in the end, don't be blaming no teachers. Don't be blaming the friends who are distracting you. Just, it's all up to you. And sixth form is going to develop you and going to make you a much more independent person. And generally, I just recommend sixth form. And if you're going to do an apprenticeship or go to college, I also recommend that too, because I've got plenty of friends who are also going to university too, from doing college like courses too. So yeah, I'll just say,
either way, you'll end up where you need to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe for new videos, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.
And you did right from the start.